Hey, everybody.
Hey, Judy.
Hey, Dennis, how are you?
Good.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey, Jim.
hi Judy, how you doing?
Good, good.
Good, good. What a day.
Beautiful?
Yeah, I did some gardening today, thank God. Keep my mind off.
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
Hmm.
Dennis, the mayor's going to be a little late.
Okay.
You
I don't see my picture. Do I gotta?
got to unblock your screen, your camera, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. How do I do that again?
I think on the bottom of your screen,
I think
there's
you have to do let everybody do it first, Judy.
I have to do it?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you have to do that more, open up the more, and
Got
then
it,
go
got
into.
No, I have to. I know where I got to do it from. Sorry.
Okay. I had an icon about start video, but only you can start the video, I think.
I did that already. But,
Okay. Well, let me try. I got a line across my start video, but I don't see anything about camera.
The host has to do it.
I'm working on it. Oh, I see. Never mind. Never mind. I got it. You should, is everybody, there you go, Bill. Bill's in.
Yeah, but I'm only on my phone. I'm not on my.
That's all right. That's all right. Everybody else should be able to,
Should we do start video?
I did, but,
Yeah. I hit that and it says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
right. I'm
we
getting
did this
the same
last
thing.
time and I apologize. This is,
Last time I think we had a camera down there. Maybe with the same icon.
Oh,
I did that.
Okay.
Am I on?
yes, Bill.
Bill, you are.
Okay.
Can everybody, Matt, you are now the co-host. So maybe you can figure out what I can't.
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
That's why you hire young people.
I can't start the video because my host has disabled it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm okay.
Mayor said he'd be late, so this is good because, you know.
I was trying to get on my iPad because it was bigger, but I had to have the meeting number and I didn't have that. I only have the password.
I don't think I have the one we used last time, Judy. I thought it was under more on the right-hand side.
That's where I'm looking. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I haven't done that yet.
So all I have under there is invite. I don't have anything else under there.
Michelle, I apologize. I just promoted you to a panelist in our webinar.
Yeah, I actually wanted to just be off screen and just
That's
completely
fine.
quiet.
No, that's fine. But if you're an attendee, you can't speak.
Yeah.
And it's my fault. I forgot to send you the link.
It's okay. I was actually gonna just go to live stream even on Facebook, but just wanted to.
When we figure out when I figure out how to get everybody in here, we'll do just that.
Okay, thanks. I hope everyone's well.
Yes, and I assume you're better.
Thank you. Yes, finally.
I know that's nothing to fool with. Oh, wait a minute. Allow panelists to rename themselves. Hang on, I got it. There you go.
Hi, Matt. I'm not on yet.
There we go.
Yeah, Bill, I can see you, but that's okay.
All you see is
Yeah.
you can't see me waving, can you?
I don't know.
No.
Oh, looks
It's
like a
a-
picture of you on
See
a.
Matt.
It looks like you're sitting really still, Bill.
I am.
Very still, yeah.
Like
There we
on the
go.
camera.
That's
There you
better.
go. That is Bob. Yeah.
Okay. It's always a struggle, but we got it.
Well, I'm still not on. Do I hit this start video then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit the video.
Okay.
Okay.
So we should really have Bob doing most of this.
No.
Well, we tried hitting the video before and Judy had to do something with it.
And I think we're good.
Okay.
Debbie asked to join us as well. Just because she had nothing to do this evening.
It's not fair. Come on.
I know. The mayor had, he has a conflict, he'll be on in a little bit. Because he's, has a daily broadcast he has to do.
How about Joanne?
I haven't heard from Joanne. She's not on yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we get started then, or?
That's up to you. It's all my frogging around. It's 5 o'clock, 5:04.
Yes. I mean, I guess I'll call the meeting, the board meeting, May meeting to order. Bang.
Bang.
Um,
I can't see that gavel. Is that official?
Right there.
Okay, cool.
Reading of the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there
I'll
any?
make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so carried. Presentation of bills and accounts.
I make a motion, we accept the bills and accounts as presented.
And I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, COVID-19.
Well, we're doing well. We had one employee, as everybody knows, that was positive and was out of work as a result. He's well. He had a relatively mild case anyway. He's back at work. He did not infect anyone. Anyone who was in contact with him has tested negative. We had a couple of folks because of that or because of a spouse. They were in quarantine because of a first contact. So they're all back to work. We're keeping up with our PPEs. We have a call among our managers tomorrow to figure out how we need to come back, what we need to do when we're allowed to do that. I'm anticipating some possible structural changes in our office. As an example, in the business office, when you walk in the door, we have the counter where our customers come and pay. I'm thinking we need to put a barrier up there, a plexiglass, so that, even though our customers will have masks when they come in for a little bit, it'll give some measure of protection to the office staff as they, interact, things like that. Out in the plant, if you're familiar with the office out there, everybody sits in one room, desks, there's no partitions. Maybe we need some partitions to keep everybody a little safer. So they're minor issues, but there's things that we need to do. And we're going to kind of work that through in a call we're going to have tomorrow. So financially is the big issue. And I think that right now, the city, unfortunately, in most municipalities, they're living on sales tax. And the sales tax projections are not good. We have been watching our flows, and we've been watching our billables and our accounts payable coming in, our accounts receivable rather coming in, and we're where we ought to be in terms of our meter reader is still out there reading every day because he's able to read from outside people's homes in a computer generated fashion. So, we're not interacting with the public. He's just walking through the city with his mask on, either using a radio or a touch coupler to read from the outside of people's homes. So we haven't so far, and just keep in mind the caveat that we bill in arrears. So you use the water possibly 3 months before we actually send you the bill. And so, but we haven't seen a downturn in our consumption as of yet. Maybe that's because we're a largely residential community. We no longer have a lot of manufacturing. I know town of Ulster, their flows are way down in their main business district because all the restaurants and bars and retail that's closed. We're just not seeing that yet. I think Matt's gonna share his screen with you and just give you a thumbnail sketch of what we've expended and how that's impacting the budget. Whenever you're ready, Matt.
Yep. Just gotta find it.
It's all right.
All right, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Very good.
So we got up here, these are the salaries for when we split the staff up a little bit. So this is what we spent for people to, stay home or be on call. So that's 58, but that's already in the budget because we would have paid these people regardless. Down here, these are for the employee that tested positive and the employees that had to wait for test results. The overtime related to those employees not able to come in. Then down here, we got the expenses that we wouldn't have had if this had not occurred. So we got $13,000, and that was $14,000 almost. That was what we spent on, disinfecting, PPE equipment, all that stuff. And here we got the waived penalties and the 50% of the sewer penalties that we would have gotten had this not happened.
So really that number, those first three numbers are really budgeted for, and they're maybe opportunity costs or loss of productivity. But the bottom three are the actual unbudgeted expenses. Of that almost $14,000 in expenses, 6 of it, or almost 7, was having the plant disinfected after he turned positive. After he, so, and that we thought we needed to do that to make sure that we protected all our employees. That was really our job number one. So, but I think there's a couple of things that were maybe naive if we don't think are going to happen. And Matt and I were chatting about that. We think that last year, the retirement expenses, because this year we're going to get hit pretty hard because the investments on the retirement system didn't pay what they paid last year because of the markets. And we think we're going to see health insurance increase again in the fall. And so Matt, you can, if you have anything else to add, that's really where we are.
I think that about covers it.
All of these things we think we're going to be able to recapture by making adjustments in the budget. So we're not looking at this point, unless some other shoe drops that we're not looking at, or something drastically changes. I don't think we're looking at layoffs or major cuts or a rate increase because of the COVID-19 at this point. It's early. And a lot of things have changed since this all went into effect in the beginning of March. So
The penalties that you showed there, is that high?
That was, town of Ulster was in that range.
Okay.
And they paid 1 or 2 days late. So I included that number in there. And that was, of that 32,000, town of Ulster was 21,000.
Okay.
and
You only had 67 budgeted for the whole year, and that's like half of it in 1 month.
A lot of that budgeted is going to come in the re-levy when we get paid that.
right. And just to kind of expand, the town always pays on time. They had an issue because of COVID-19. The normal bookkeeping staff and accounting staff in the town hall wasn't there. and the bill didn't get put where it was supposed to, didn't get sent out to the departments to be paid. And so as soon as Jim realized what had happened and John rose, they paid the bill, but it was, they didn't see it for 2 days. It just was the normal bookkeeper was out because of COVID-19, because of health related issues, and the fill-in just kind of messed up.
Okay, I mean, okay, thanks. That kind of explains why that's so high compared to the budget amount.
Yeah, no, Dennis, they're always on time.
Okay. And they're only 2 days late anyway.
Right,
Right.
but our penalty is if you're a day late, it's 10%, and it never gets, like the taxes accrue a percent a month about.
Yeah.
These don't accrue. It's 10% if you're a day late or if you're 6 months late. But
And are we doing anything different with the town of Ulster? I know that there was a request or to deal with, them not using as much water and where we end up at the end of the quarter or the end of the year.
no, because we can talk about that in a transmission main project. They're going to be offline for 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks because of the work we're doing, and so they're going to save their money right there, and it's a win-win because we really need them to do that for us.
Okay.
Hey, Judy, curiosity question. Who do you call to come in and do the disinfecting of the plant?
Well, thank God for the police department's Facebook page, because I guess PuroClean is a company based on Washington Avenue, just over the city line there, next to the diner, and that's what they do. And they did it as a community gesture for KPD because they're there 24/7, and one of the owners is actually a retired police officer. So and it was on their Facebook page, and I said, oof. And then about 3 days later, Richie tested positive, and we said, well, we better get the place disinfected. So they use they use a fogger, almost like a pest control application. And then they wipe down with a, I think it's a chlorine solution, but it's all of the surfaces that you would touch, doorknobs, buttons, keyboards, all that stuff. But it's the fogging that they do that really is penetrates and covers everything. You actually can't be there when that occurs.
I was wondering, yeah.
It must be pretty busy, huh?
I would imagine they are.
I can't even imagine how many places and those in the plexiglass people.
Well, and what I understand is that what I understand from talking to them is there's some places where they do it every week. Like one of the local banks has them come in every weekend to disinfect. So
Interesting. Thanks.
Okay, moving on then. There's nothing else, right, Judy?
no, I have nothing else.
Did we want to do anything about the other due dates between now and the next meeting, or?
Well, that's yes. Last time we waived the penalties up until the day before this meeting, and with the idea that you might want to extend that if this continued, and it obviously has.
So we kind of do that on a monthly basis.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you have a crystal ball and know exactly when this is going to be over.
Okay, so I guess I would entertain a motion to extend that until June 9th, I guess.
I'll
Yep.
make that motion.
Yes, June 9th.
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so carried. Okay, moving on to Cooper Lake improvements then.
Okay, Matt's we're gonna show you, well, let me back up a minute. As you know, we have a motion, we have an intent to declare ourselves as lead agent in the secret process for Cooper Lake. We've sent out all the letters to all the involved and interested agencies. We've gotten 2 letters back where there's no objection and everyone else was silent. So I asked our attorney, Dan Ruzzo, that's helping us in this bill, recommended that we use an outside firm, an environmental specialist, to help us with this. And there's a resolution that I'd like you to pass declaring us as lead agent tonight. I didn't get it till this morning, but Matt's going to put the resolution up for you to look at. Share a screen again.
Everybody see that?
Yes.
So this is only for the temporary emergency connection.
Yes,
Okay,
because the Cooper Lake, it's all one project, but the Cooper Lake project, portion of the project, is a type 2 action that requires no further environmental review under the law. This portion, not only are they geographically separate, but they're going to be temporally separated as well. This is going to be the first thing that we do. This is actually an unlisted action, which requires consideration, a lead agency, and preparation of a environmental assessment form. And that's been done. So if you determine that you pass this tonight and you become the lead agency, then the next meeting I will circulate the full environmental assessment to everybody, and then I'm asking that attorney Dan Ruzzo to prepare a declaration of negative significance for this action, so that we can, and that's really the end of the secret process. Once we take those 2 resolutions and circulate them back to all the involved agencies.
So you won't need a public hearing then, Judy, right?
No,
That's good.
we met with the public, quite honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
In both, and we could do it again. So that resolution I would ask that we pass tonight, so that we can get all the little pieces together that we need to submit to DEC for review. They won't review this project until they have a complete package. So we have thus far, Seeker's been holding us up, but really it was DEP, and now DEP has come on board. And so we're about 2 weeks away from being able to submit to them, which is good news.
okay, so I'll entertain a motion to, I guess, declare us lead agent.
I'll make that motion. We declare Kingston Water Department lead agent.
The Board of Water Commissioners.
Okay, the Board of Water Commissioners.
It's water.
Okay, do
Yeah,
I have
I
a
think-
second?
And I'll
Judy,
second.
Judy, shouldn't it be the water department?
No, well,
I'm-
It says Water Department, well, City of Kingston Board of Water Department.
What do they have in there? City. I can't read it because I'm on an iPhone. The City of Kingston.
City of Kingston Board of Water Department.
right,
Board
Board of Water Commissioners of the city of Kingston.
right. Yeah. So I don't think it matters, to be honest with you, but,
Does not matter.
okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, I guess I'll ask for those in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
Thank you. Dennis, you need to sign that on the bottom, but we'll get it to you.
Okay,
Matt'll fill it out, get it to you, and, even if we email it to you, and you can send it back.
okay. That's fine.
Just to continue on with that project, the DEP, the permit, the land use permit is in process. CDM has about 2 weeks worth of work to finalize those plans for that Ashokan connection. And then in about a month, we'll have updated costs based on that. CDM really needed to wait to finalize all that until the DEP got back to them with comments. And Schnabel is in about the same place. So we should have everything ready to wrap up in another couple of weeks.
Okay.
And I might ask everybody to call a special meeting if I get the resolution from Dan for the negative declaration. Maybe a 10-minute special meeting to take care of that. It depends on how. I mean, they tell me 2 weeks. It could be a little longer, could be a little less. I don't know, but we'll see. About 2 weeks. So we'll wait. But if we need a special meeting to get that done, so as not to hold up the submission to the DEC, I'll let everybody know.
Okay. Nothing else on that. We're done with that?
Yeah, we're done with that. And the project labor agreement, I haven't forgotten about doing that research and getting it to you, but we're probably 3 months away from bidding. So we still have some time to work through that. And quite honestly, some of these other things, it takes a lot longer to get anything done when everybody's not in the same place. It's just a new way to work. So.
Okay. Transmission main rehab project?
We're back working and the winter is over. We have a new project manager, which is a positive development. It's not, Schultz has a new project manager, which is a positive development on our end. He's a little more user-friendly so far. Seems very capable. He's a graduate of the School of Forestry at Syracuse. So he was, it seems like it's going to work in our favor to be able to have somebody that's a little bit better, easier to communicate with. Last week was pretty exciting for us. This project in particular is something that's probably the project that scares me the most in terms of what could go wrong and what the consequences of that would be. But last week we had we had 12-hour days to put in to get it ready, but we did the tie-ins at the top of the hill, the influent and the effluent. The new mains are tied in, and that meant bypassing. Binney Water Reservoir was offline for a good part of one of those days, and nobody in town knew it. I mean, we did it. I mean, thank God. We had planned contingencies. We had reached out to the fire department. I mean, everybody that needed to know what was happening did. And I mean, I guess when you plan, things go better than you expect because you plan. So it all went very, very well. If you give me a minute here, I'm gonna just show you a couple of really quick pictures. I know, everybody's time is valuable. And that just, okay. And I just want to show you these pictures. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
This is the new connection at the top of the hill on the influent at the reservoir. So while this was being done, this is the old line. Probably this was done by Bill's dad in the 60s. This small section. The majority of the line is from 1927. They brought the whole new line up the hill and they left it right here. And this is the new connection being put in. Now this valve right here is closed because we need to chlorinate and pressure test that before we put that in line. But while we were doing this, water was still coming out of the reservoir, but no water was coming in from the plant. And we were feeding the city directly from the plant. And that hasn't been done since the 60s. So it was a little nerve-wracking insofar as, you're using 100-year-old valves that haven't been touched. Our guys did a phenomenal job. They went out, they worked those valves. You know, we probably bought more vegetable oil and things that we just poured on them and left them there for a week. And we also had we have an excellent engineer, Paul Cabral from CDM. Not only is he a wonderful pipe and hydraulics engineer, but he's a good field guy, and he respects the crew, and he works with them, and it's always an education process and a two-way street. So it's really a positive thing. It worked out real well. This is the old effluent line, the water leaving the reservoir, and this is the guys cutting into that old 1927 pipe. This is the new piece going in, because they brought a piece of pipe up. Now the building, the building is over to the left, to the left side of the picture. And this is the inside of the 1927 pipe that we cut out. And so when you want to know where that hydraulic restriction was?
Yeah, there she, wow.
There it was.
Did they measure at all, Judy? What the inside diameter?
No, I mean, we still have that pipe.
Yeah.
Now, we're interested in getting everything back online.
Yeah.
So we did that, and that worked out fairly well. So those were a couple of those days are past us. Thank God, everything went well. Debbie, who's you know, just sitting in at the meeting tonight, she and Derek did a great job of monitoring the plant and keeping everything going. And you know, Debbie sat at the compliance point and laid on the floor and took the pressure from under the sink. And you know, I mean, and Ryan and his guys did a great job of turning valves, and you know, it all worked out real well. They really did a nice job. The town has been offline, as I indicated before, because we really thought while we were feeding the city directly, I'd rather have the plant have to produce a 3.3 million gallon a day flow instead of a 4 million gallon a day flow. And they were prepared if something had gone wrong to backfeed us a little bit. So, but that wasn't necessary. So they'll be off for a couple more weeks, because now we have to do the tie-ins at the bottom of the hill. And that's probably going to happen in mid-June. So, we have one change order on this project that I'd like to ask you for. And, you know, again, with the pictures, and I don't want to wear out my welcome, but I think it'll be easier for you to see what we're asking for. This is the existing, obviously this is the building, and you come in through the gate, and the reservoir is up here, and this has been our existing roadway. And this is quite steep. It doesn't appear so from this picture, but if you start hiking it a few times, it's, and as and in the wintertime when we plow down, there's a lot of black ice there because of the runoff, and it's not uncommon for them to dink the plow on the bollard on the other side there that protects the air conditioning system, or to actually hit the building itself. So the contractors put in this haul road, and for $7,268.81, they will put fabric down and shale this and make this our new access road. And I mean, I think it's probably would be a positive addition to this project and to our operations there. I would propose that we leave this in, just leave it there. And that in the wintertime, we just stop plowing it. But in the summer, it's a nice turnaround if we need it. And just to give you, this is the front page of, so this is the original contract amount of $2,115,152. This would be change order number 5. The previous 4 were 108,000, almost 109,000. And it would bring the total price of the contract with this change order of $7,268.81 up to just a little over 2.2 million. And Matt, if you want to explain how this is being done through a loan and a grant, and
Sure.
and so go ahead.
All right, so for this project, we had the WIA grant, we had the $2 million in the WIA grant and the $1.3 million loan. And the way this one was paid out by EFC is we use half of the grant, which we've already used all of that. Then we have to use all of the loan financing, and the remaining half of the grant will be after that. So any change order we have from here on out would come out of the grant, because we have, based on that new contract amount, we're going to have about $600,000 left in the budget for this project.
Right, because these guys came in under budget.
Yes.
And so we do have a little wiggle room in there when we're likely, hopefully we're not going to use that entire grant. I mean, it would be nice, but that's the way EFC cut this up. So
what happens to the money that we don't use? The grant money then? The back half of the,
it doesn't come to us. It stays with the state, stays with EFC.
okay. But that's free money that we're giving back or staying.
Correct. Correct. So if there are things in this project and improvements that we'd like to do, I will talk to Paul and see, you know, I want to get a little farther down the road in case there isn't another hiccup.
Okay.
There are some things that we could do to make additional improvements that, you know, we didn't contemplate. That would be, you know, certainly come in line with this project. Yeah, I agree with you. If we don't
Yeah, I
have,
don't want to give back my free money if we don't have to.
I would agree. I would agree.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept this change order number 5.
If that's the board's, yes, if that's what the board would like to do, and that's what I would recommend, because it will make operating there and plowing there so much easier, to getting, you know, equipment trucks up there. That turn is pretty tough by the building.
And in reality, it's the grant money, which is free money.
Yes.
No additional cost to the department in regards to
No.
loans or anything.
No,
Sounds like a no-brainer, so.
I didn't want to say that.
I'll make the motion. We follow up on the change order.
Okay. Do I have a second? I don't know if we lost Peg or not.
I can second.
Okay,
Alright.
thanks, Steve. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, carried. Thanks, Judy. Is that it for transmission main?
Oh, believe me, that's it.
Okay. We at 2020?
We've outlined the scope. I think I reported that last month. I expect to have something back from CDM shortly. The goal here is to, you know, when you're outlining a project, it's real easy to get carried away. Yeah, I'd like this, I'd like this, I'd like this. But we have a budget, and, you know, the grant is so much, and that's 60%. So we're working on about a $1.5 million project we're trying to create here. So they're going to get back to us and cost that out, and then we're going to make some decisions, because before we tell them to go to design something, we really should be within that $1.5 million project limit. So that's where we are right now. I expected to have that back either the end of this week or next. You know, they're working on it, but it should be certainly before the next meeting.
Okay. Quarry Street.
I do have preliminary designs from Bernier and Larios, but I got them like the day before we started really working on the transmission main project, so I really haven't had time to go into them at any great depth. We will look at them. I'm still waiting for cost estimates from them, but I think Dennis is waiting for me to comment on the preliminary so we can finalize things and he can give me a better number. A couple of interesting things that we found out when they're doing the planning for this. And Steve, you may know this. Do you know that the city street stops at Howland Avenue on Quarry Street? You did know that.
So it doesn't go, doesn't it go up to the last house? Or
No.
does,
No, it does not.
huh?
And Chris Zell from Bernier and Larios, they pulled all the deeds, and the school district owns from Howland Avenue up to the school. And Bailey and Edson are on the same same parcel.
Yeah, I knew that they owned the road in between. I didn't know it was all the way down at Howland.
Right. And the thing that substantiates that, at least in my mind, so first of all, we fixed their service leak at least once, because we thought it was our main, but that's in the past. Those two houses at the end there that are above Howland Avenue, they're tapped actually on Howland Avenue, and they have a service lateral that goes from, about past the end house on the corner house on Howland and Quarry. Their service is before that house, and it strings all the way through the road, and they share a service. And when we were fixing the water main break, we were like, well, when they ran this main, why wouldn't they have hooked these folks on this house?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, because it's the school service.
Hmm.
So we are going to not only likely speak to the district to see if they want to fix their main at the same time, same contract. And we're also going to try to speak to Central Hudson, because in our trench, they've laid a gas main directly on top of us. And if that gas main was moved or diverted or something, this would be a very simple project. You just, provide, there's really nobody out of service. You could valve out that main off, take it out, and put in a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think I have any hope of asking them to move the gas main, but I think that maybe they'd want to contribute the cost of having to blast a new trench up the road.
Mm-hmm.
So Dennis and I are looking at those possibilities and trying to talk to powers in both of those places to see how that works out. But I was surprised to find out that the city property stops at Howland.
I think they did. Could they have done it for fire protection? Somehow I remember that there are two schools there, and they didn't want to have them both off the same line. Isn't Edson off?
Yeah.
I think we talked about this, right? Edson was off Carolina Avenue, and
Edson's-
Belly was off.
Edson's on the tank system.
Yeah.
Edson's comes out of the Grandview pump station and the Pearl Street tank. That's where they get their water service from. And Bailey is the last on the gravity system.
And could they have done that for fire purposes?
Absolutely. Absolutely, they may have. I mean, the school.
Somehow I remember something about that. I remember it happening. I remember when they put,
and that's where the boundary valve is, right there.
Yeah.
So we have, during a lot of these water main breaks, we have put Bailey out of school, and Edson is just chugging along just fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the status of that. And that was the interesting piece I learned, that, I spent a couple of winter evenings and nights out there when we probably could have just called up the school district and said, hey guys, you got a break. It's all good.
Okay. The roundabout.
We're doing pretty good. We've done all the work we have to do, and it's really up to them and to come back. They did accidentally pull a service that hadn't been retired properly when the county, I don't know, it was the county or somebody before the county, that went to the probation department, the building that formerly was the probation department. And that was, but one of the conversations we had with the contractor was the contractor is under the impression that they do not need a licensed plumber to do any work on this project. And I suggested to them that, at least in terms, the sewer is not my domain, but in terms of putting in new water services for the people on the other side, they absolutely did. So I haven't heard any pushback yet on that.
So they're working right now on the Broadway area, or they're doing all of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first thing they did was they took out the existing structure, they put in lines, they blacktopped. And now I think they're starting work on the sewer work on the Broadway end.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
And so I think that's where they are. The real work with us will be on the Albany Avenue side, which is either the second or the third phase, probably more July-ish or August by the time they get there. Those houses, they're going to have to put up on temporary water and run new services at the end. And, you know, my message to him was, you have to have a licensed plumber. He said, well, I have to hire union help and there's no union people on there. I said, that's not true, first of all. Second of all, you can get a one-time permit through the city, and you can bring in your own unionized plumber. But, you know, and I'm not as concerned about a licensed plumber as during the conversation, they were going to patch existing lead services. I mean, I just don't want them. I don't mind if there's not a licensed plumber there. I do mind that they're not following our plumbing and building codes. And that seemed to be, and I could, you know, the person that we talked to was one of the foremen there, but, you know, he may be misinformed. So
Call conversation to state DOT. Would that help?
I am going to do that. I'm going to have a conversation with them because we did go over that in our initial meeting and they said that would not be a problem having, you know, somebody on staff to oversee that, to have them hire a sub to do that. You know, as I say, I'm, you know, less concerned about hiring. I mean, it just didn't seem to be an appropriate. I said, what would you do if that had been, that was a lead service, an abandoned lead service? I said, what would that have been, a live service to somebody's house or business? Oh, I would have just pieced it together. I'm like, well, you can't do that. That's against the law. It's you know, you just can't. Once you touch that lead, you got to get it out of the ground. No. I'm like, okay. So it wasn't an issue. We didn't push it, but just, we will be watching.
Okay. Moving on, Tech City.
Farm Bridge is paying the bills, and Ulster County now is in the process of getting up those two buildings, the old Bank of America buildings, and there's meters in there, and they are paying those bills. I don't know if they've paid the bill, they've just gotten the bill.
So this is the stuff on the west side.
Yes.
Okay.
Two big, the newest two buildings that they built out there. And they're still under the master meter, but they have their own separate meters in the buildings. So we're able to very easily read those, give the county the bill, deduct that consumption from what Farm Bridge is being built, and it all works out. So I really see no benefit in making any major construction change to how the water system is out there until the other shoe drops and the county owns the whole thing. I mean, at some point, there's no sense in incurring all those costs when it's pretty obvious that Ginsburg is going to lose control of that at some point in the future. And it's, you know, we're going to have a new reality out there to deal with.
How much water is the county using, do you know? Or, I mean, what are they doing in there?
Right now it's renovations.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I think they're working on the heating systems, the air conditioning systems. And initially, I think it was to stand up as an overflow facility during this epidemic. I'm not sure that's necessary anymore, but that's not, I've been told by the buildings, the county workers that are out there that that's no longer the intent, but you know, that may not be true either. So I don't know.
Okay. Correspondence?
You have a letter in there from
All right.
Levan Street. All I want to say about that is these are folks that live in New Paltz. They have a house at 49 Levan. So when they suggest that we did not go there and yet we charged them, that is not true. We were there. We were there. We determined that it wasn't our issue. It was the a sewer issue. And, but the part that I will say that they are correct on is the person, our on-call person is supposed to tell them that if they go out there after hours, there will be a $200 charge, because based on the description, this was clearly an issue where they should have called a plumber. This wasn't, hey, I got water flooding my basement. Maybe it's a water main break outside. This was water coming up in their basement that was obviously either a water service issue or a sewer issue. Turned out they needed a plumber no matter what. But the person that was on call downstairs in our place, this was like the first time, he's a new employee, it was the first week he had done it, and he just wasn't informed that he was supposed to inform them. So I would say under these circumstances that while we were there, the owner was, and I'm not sure we ever talked to the owner. We may have talked to the tenant. I don't think the owner was ever there I don't think the owner is being disingenuous and saying that we never showed up and we weren't there. I don't think the owner understands that because the owner wasn't there. But we're remiss. We should have told him it was a $200 charge, and then they could have made the decision whether we went or we didn't go. So, I guess my recommendation would be to waive the charge under the circumstance, because we should have told them that there was a charge for us to come to tell them that it was a plumbing problem.
That's fair.
Okay, need a
I agree.
motion then?
So you need a motion.
Need a motion to waive this, Judy?
Yes, please.
Don't make it waive. We'll just put it for return, okay? Have a
Yeah.
precedent waiver in there. The word waiver.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. That the error was on our part. We should have informed them.
Something rather.
so we need a motion though?
Yes, because no one in this department can waive any charge or penalty. None of the employees, including the superintendent.
Matt, it's a motion to refund an improper charge.
Right.
Right. Not a waiver, okay?
Okay. So can someone make that motion? I mean, I will if I can, but I don't think I can.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll
Have a
second.
sec- Okay. Those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? I carried. Superintendent's report? Anybody have any questions or comments?
Don't disappoint, Dennis.
No, I'm fine.
No questions from me.
Motion to accept?
I'll make that.
Okay, a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Executive session?
Well, first of all, I haven't figured out how to do one. And second of all, I don't have anything. Bill doesn't have anything, but I would like to maybe sit down with the personnel committee. There's no immediate need, but we've learned some things through this, COVID-19, and we may want to restructure, some of our staffing, maybe a little bit, talk to you about that. And I also think we really need to talk about succession planning. So no rush, but I think we need to have that meeting.
I'd like to be part of that meeting too when you do attend us, if you don't mind.
Okay, not a problem. So do you want to set that up, Judy, or make arrangements?
When, you and Peg are on the personnel committee. Whenever you're available, we can do this kind of a meeting if we want. Or we can sit in the office if we say 6 feet apart. It's up to you guys, whatever you're comfortable with. I don't have a problem with doing it online.
I'm fine with anything. And then I'm normally available.
Okay,
Peg's got the most restricted
right.
schedule, I guess.
I'm much better if we do it online, only because I've just got wall-to-wall conference calls all day.
That's fine. So,
Okay.
hey, why don't you let me know what days in the next couple of weeks are best for you, and we can work that way.
For me, probably early in the morning, not on a Tuesday,
Okay,
at around, I don't know, usually 9 o'clock is okay.
okay,
But I would say probably, yeah,
all right.
Friday. Any of those days is probably good. If I have enough advance notice, then I can work around.
That's what I do. I mean, some days you have 5 Zoom meetings and some day, or, go to meeting or whatever they are. And some days, you have none. It depends. So I hear you. All right. So I will,
I have a conflict at 12 noon, you know that.
yeah, he has to sing in the street.
And Peg, you should come up for that.
What's your conflict?
Every day at exactly 12 noon, all the people from the neighborhood, well, maybe 25 people, they all keep their distance. They stand in front of my house. I take a box out and we sing a different song every day. One song.
Oh, boy.
And Mike Jordan's wife started. Yesterday was his anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
And his wife said that her favorite song was American Pie. So we sang not Pie.
That's a very long song.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
8 minutes and 40 seconds to be exact, I can tell you.
It's surprising that I didn't hear you.
Well, and I have to say, Peg, I stopped to drop some stuff off one day to Bill when they were in the midst of this.
Oh, boy.
And, I mean, Suzanne has such a lovely voice, and I mean, it really sounds quite nice. It
All
really,
right.
it really is good.
Your neighbors
Every day. Every day?
Yeah, every day at exactly 12 noon. It takes 5 minutes. Tomorrow's song is Gloria Gaynor. What's Gloria Gaynor? The Kathleen, what's the song? Not Too Proud.
I
It's
can't
Gloria-
survive.
You'll know it.
I will survive.
Hey, thank you. I will survive. Thank you very much. I'm getting
Oh, that's funny.
So I will shoot some dates, and you guys can tell me what you want to do.
That sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Judy, can I ask a quick question? Just about, it's kind of go back to the superintendent's report, but in terms of usage of water, is it pretty much kind of on average? Have we noticed any drop or spike because of people being home?
No, we had one guy call up and complain that his bill is higher, and then he admitted that his 2 kids and his wife and he are like locked in the house. And so where they usually flush at school, now they're flushing at home. I've talked to my colleagues around the state, and I don't know if the other shoe is going to drop, but I'm looking at our average flows. They're the same as they were 2 years ago, 5 years ago by month. So we haven't seen that. Now, of course, we're billing in arrears. Who knows what the future is going to bring, but so far so good. And our collections are, people are paying their bills. So we're okay. I mean, we went over some expenses that we had that, we didn't anticipate, but it's nothing that we can't absorb in this budget now. Because
And that was my other thing too, is that, I'm not sure how FEMA categorizes us collectively.
Yep.
But Kristen on my team is putting together a FEMA reimbursement for all of our COVID-19 responses, which can include, overtime, extra, if we had extra expenses in purchasing cleaning supplies. And so I don't know if you're able to join in on our application, your expenses that you've had, that could at least be something you and Kristen can talk about to see whether you could just join with us and submit your bills and receipts or any staff time that you've had.
as long as John can give us the check for the reimbursement, sure.
Yeah.
In the past, I've been through a couple of FEMA events. We've done it independently, and that's just double paperwork.
Right.
But we could do it together because it's considerable paperwork.
Yeah.
And so that would be fine. We shared that. You weren't on yet. We did share that. And if everybody wants to take 2 minutes, Matt can show you that again if he wants to. But he's got all those expenses categorized in detail.
Yeah. So Matt, you may want to reach out to Kristen because her and Ruth Ann in her office, they went through all the webinars. They now know how to submit it. We've gotten the pre-application started. We are now just gathering expenses. And so we're happy to work with you guys. And if, we end up getting an extra 30,000 in revenue related to the water department, then we'll just send that on over. So.
That's fine. I mean, and we've I mean, I know Mark Brown has had some experience more than he wants.
Yeah.
So have I. And if they need any help on filling that stuff out, I'm going to speak for Mark, but I'd be happy to, share what a little bit we know about it. It's not for the faint of heart, and it takes years.
All right, those are all my updates for the night. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing else? No, I'll
For me.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll
second?
second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, everyone.
Good to see you all. Stay safe. Thank you.
Okay.
Stay
Stay
safe.
well.
I will send you the invitation. I just brain fart. Sorry.
Okay,
All right. Good night.
good night.
Hey.
Bye.